Alright guys, welcome back to another deck list. Today we're going to be going over Incineroar. The Incineroar just being like the mono fire type of the format. Incineroar GX just being one of the best GXs in the U150 format, purely because it has 250 HP, can attack for 1 energy, does have one-shot capability, and a lot of cool support around it. Now, one of the biggest things that Incineroar gained was Profane Punch, 170 HP non-EX fire type that really can back up the late game. This deck has always been known as kind of an early game deck. You get Incineroar GX out and you just keep using Hustling Strike over and over and over again, taking cheap prizes until the mid game when they eventually knock out Incineroar. You can switch into that Profane Punch and kind of sweep with that. Going out. One of the biggest strengths of the deck is the ability to play all these fire type support. It's basically just like we subbed out the Porygon line for other things. So we have the 1/1 Melodic, we have the Ninetales line, we even have a Pyro line in there, just other sort of support Pokemon. The Melodic line is not as good as Porygon 2. We'll just say that out right now. It allows your opponent to play around it. More cards could be played in this deck that shuffle your opponent's hands. Stuff like Sabrina's Gaze, stuff like Lookers, that sort of thing. The stuff that a red card, even stuff that's going to shuffle your opponent's hand so that they can't play around sharing. You want to constantly be disrupting their hand and sharing, but that's if we wanted to build the deck around Melodic. Yes, a lot of times you do need Melodic, but a lot of times you also don't. Most of the time that you're playing double supporters, one of the most impactful double supporters that you could possibly play would be Lysander or Guzma, I would say, outside of Hexmaniac, obviously. I think Hexmaniac Chain is the most impactful. I think the second most impactful is like Lysander Loops. So that's why you have Flare Command in here. Because of the 1 energy attachment on Hustling Strike, you can be able to abuse Flare Command over and over again. If you think about it one way, you can Blacksmith to Pyroar, attach your Mantle attached to Incineroar, and then if you get damaged, you can max push Incineroar, attach, and you still have 1 extra energy attached to Flare Command with Pyro on the next turn, so that your turn can go for a different supporter instead of Blacksmith. That all kind of makes sense. Blacksmith gives you 2 Lysanders back to back, so that second turn you can use a different supporter if you're only limited to 1 supporter a turn because your opponent's playing around sharing. So Pyro is super effective in all of these fire-based decks, and especially in this deck because of the single energy attachment sort of thing. Outside of that, you have your normal fire type support. You have Victini, Benchtini, and Volcanion. It's kind of just those extra backup attackers. You even could consider playing a Pyro Break if you wanted to go that route. This Oricorio Kindle is actually not the worst attack in the world, but it is there to replace Dunsparce because you don't want too many non-fire types on your bench so that Hustling Strike can do the most damage possible. Just kind of goes with the theme of this deck. That's why you see the Mr. Fuji in there. The Scoop Up's in any deck, but it's really good here just to kind of get rid of your Uxie, your Spiritomb, excuse me, Lapras, that sort of thing. Outside of that, I don't think there's anything super different with this list. You might be questioning what the Rainbow Energy is doing in there. And that's to power up Profane Punch. Profane Punch does, I think, 50 plus 80 if one of your bench Pokemon is damaged. So if for some reason that your bench Pokemon's not damaged, you can attach a Rainbow Energy, Blacksmith to the Profane Punch, and swing. 170 HP on a non-EX is just brutal. So this Incineroar is super good. But like I said, I don't think there's anything too out of the normal in terms of stuff over here. The Fuji's the only non-standard stuff. You have Max Potion and Pokemon Center. Just kind of a way to abuse the massive HP of Incineroar and then the massive late game HP of the other Incineroar. Yeah, that's gonna about do it. If you have any questions on this deck, please let us know. If not, have a great rest of your day.